us are using AI just for writing user stories. And that may not be the best use of AI. Some of you may have attended in a 1 day course, or maybe more than 1 day course from different organization, right? Scrum.org, Scrum Alliance, or any other organization who is providing these courses. And that's where you may have explored the end-to-end use of AI in the product development lifecycle from a product owner perspective, right? And you writing in a user story using AI is just one of the use cases. There are so many others, right? And now you may be preparing for an assessment of that course, right? Or you may be preparing for your next product owner interview where you are expecting that the interview is going to ask you about the AI, how as a product owner you are using AI. So don't worry. What we have is we have compiled a list of 50 questions which will help you in preparing for your exam as well as for the interview. Those questions are freely available on our website and you can go and attempt them whenever you want. So what we are going to do as a part of this video is I will walk you through the first 10 questions along with the explanation that will help you in your preparation. Right? So give me a second. Let me share my screen. So here is my screen. I hope you must be able to see it. So it is available on this website, productleadersdayindia.org, AI for product owners free assessment, 50 practice question. Right. So let's start with the first one. A product owner wants to use an LLM to generate user stories from a long transcript of a customer interview. What is the most critical step the PO must take before copying the transcript into a public LLM? So there is a customer interview happen, right? And you have a recording of it, maybe an audio recording or a video recording, or maybe just the text part of it, right? Now you want to generate user stories out of it. What should you take into account? Right? Compress the file to say tokens? No. Anonymize all PID information of the customer, right? That makes sense. I think it is very clear. This is one. Ask the LLM to format the output as a JSON file? No. Ensure the Scrum Master is present during the prompt? No. So B looks right. And let's check it. Data privacy is paramount. When using public AI model, any sensitive or personal information must be scrubbed or anonymized before input to prevent unauthorized data sharing and compliance violation. Right. So this is the key. And when we are using all these AI models, I think the data privacy has become a key concern. So far, so good. Okay, let's move to the next question. Next question is, when using AI to draft product backlog items or PBIs, who is ultimately accountable for the value clarity order of those items? You must be knowing the answer, but it doesn't matter who is doing the work. When it comes to the value clarity and ordering, right? When it comes to the accountability of the product backlog or the product owner will always be accountable. It cannot be the Scrum Master, AI model vendor, or the developer. So the right answer is the product owner. All good? Great. So move to the third one. How can a product owner effectively use few shot prompting during backlog refinement? So few shot prompting is one of the prompting technique, and this is the technique which we cover in our 1 day online course for AI for product owner. Right. And in case if you are interested in joining that course, you can just comment on this video or maybe look at the website in the training section and you will find that. Right. So coming back to the question, the effective use of few shot prompting by asking the AI to refine the backlog using as few words as possible. No. By providing the AI with 2 or 3 examples of perfectly written ready user story before asking it to write a new one. This seems to be correct. Why? When it comes to the few shot prompting, that is the concept of few shot prompting, where we provide a few examples to the LLM so that the output is using those examples of the format. Right? By only prompting the AI once per sprint is not correct. By asking the AI to guess the team's velocity is also not correct. So this B is the correct one. Yep. Few shot prompting involves giving the model a few examples to establish a pattern. And that's what we are doing. We are providing a 2-3 example, ensuring the AI generated user stories match the specific format and quality standard the team is expecting. All good? So 3 questions done. Let's move on. A PO is analyzing thousands of app store reviews, right? We go to app, you provide your review, right? On using those stars and comment to find the next most valuable feature. Which AI technique is best suited for this? Right? Again, part of our online course, right? So, image generation, we are not generating image. NLP and the sentiment analysis, that's what we are doing. Because when it comes to the app store or when it comes to the review, so it's in a natural language processing or the way people have responded to it. The rating may sometimes what happens, the rating may be different, and the comment may be going in a different direction. So all those things can be done using an NLP or the sentiment analysis. Reinforcement learning doesn't make sense. The neural network is not the answer. Right? NLP and the sentiment analysis can rapidly process vast amount of unstructured text like reviews to identify themes, pain points, and overall customer sentiment. So that's what where we can use NLP and the sentiment analysis for reviewing the your customer review, right? To find out what next we should build. Moving on, if a product owner uses an AI algorithm to automatically order the product backlog based on predicted ROI, right? What agile principle is at risk if the algorithm is a black box? Which means we are using an AI algorithm without knowing how it works. Then what would be the challenge? Working software over company? No, this is not good. Transparency and the shared industry. We don't know what is happening, right? How it is doing. So that will be at risk. Self-organization is not, sustainable pace is not, right? Transparency and the shared industry. If the PO cannot explain why the AI ordered the backlog a certain way, transparency is lost. The team needs to understand the why to take ownership and build effective. Right? So it doesn't matter. It's completely fine to use AI for whatever task or work you want to do, but there should be a transparency and the shared understanding. What does it mean? You should know that how it is working. What is the algorithm? Why the AI model is showing feature A over feature B? What is the reason behind? All those things should be clear. So 5 questions done. Let's move to the next one. During sprint planning, the PO uses AI to suggest a sprint goal based on the top backlog item. Okay, good. What should happen next? So the sprint goal has been suggested by AI, and you are sitting in your sprint planning. What will you do next? The Scrum Master must immediately accept the AI's goal? No. The developers begin working on the items instantly? No. The Scrum team collaboratively discuss, refines, and agrees upon the suggested sprint goal. Why? Because it is in a suggestion given by the AI, right? AI cannot make any decision on behalf of us. So as in a Scrum team, we take the input from AI and then we will discuss, refine, and agrees upon our sprint goal. Right? So this looks okay. The PO locks the sprint goal, so it cannot be changed. No, that's not correct. Yep. AI suggestion a starting point. The sprint goal must be collaboratively crafted and committed to by the entire Scrum team during the sprint plan. Make sense? Good. Let's move on. A product owner creates a highly detailed AI persona of their target user. For example, act as in a 35-year-old business professional who needs quick financial update. This is a persona a product owner has created using AI. What is the primary risk of relying solely on the AI persona for product discovery? What does it mean? We are using AI for creating the persona, right? So what is the risk with it? Let's look at the options. The AI persona will use too many tokens? No. The AI persona might reflect stereotype or historical biases present in training data rather than real nuance user need. And this seems to be correct. Why? When the AI is creating persona, AI is not looking at the current market trend or maybe not be the current state. It is based on the data it has been trained, right? And sometimes the data may be biased also. Right? So this seems to be okay. The persona will demand to be paid for his feedback. No, the AI accidentally delete the product backlog. No. So the second is no. AI persona are generated from the broad internet data, which contain biases and the stereotype. They should augment, not replace actual customer conversation and the empirical validation. That's correct. So 7 questions done. Move to the 8th one. What does RAG stand for in the context of augmented AI for product knowledge? Right. For those who are very new, right? Again, this topic we cover as a part of our AI for product owner workshop, right? As well as in the AI for Scrum Master workshop also. So the RAG stand for retrieval augmentation generation, and there is a purpose for it. I may not be able to explain in detail here, but if you look at the explanation, that may help you. RAG allows an AI to search external database like in a company internal product documentation before generating an answer, highly increasing accuracy and reducing the hallucination. So this is works as a more of an external data source. So rather than going back and retraining your model on the new data source, we can use RAG as an external data source. Okay, 8 is done. Now move to the 9 question. To ensure AI generated acceptance criteria are valuable, what specific instructions should a PO include in their prompt? Oh, this is good. To ensure AI generated acceptance criteria are valuable, what specific instructions should a PO include in their prompt? Which means we are asking AI to generate the acceptance criteria. Then what should we do so that the criteria is valuable? Write the criteria in Python? No. Make sure the criteria are abstract and open to interpretation? No, it should be very specific. Format the criteria using this seems okay. So the format, the acceptance criteria should be written in a given when then format, or maybe even the user story should be written in the given when and then format, the BDD format. Ignore edge cases doesn't make sense. Yeah, specifying a format like given when then ensure the AI provides structured, testable, and clear acceptance criteria. So we are asking AI provide it in a very structured and the clear acceptance criteria. Okay, 9 questions done. Let's move to the 10th question, and this would be our last. The product owner wants to forecast when a specific feature will be delivered. Why is traditional agile forecasting using historical team velocity generally preferred over asking an LLM to predict the day? So what we have is we have two options. One is we are asking AI to predict our release date versus we are using our historical team data to for doing the forecasting. But the question is why we go more with the forecasting with the historical data rather than the LLM. So let's say see what the option are. LLMs cannot do math. Yeah, LLMs are very good on math, so that's not good. LLMs are text prediction. That's right, not deterministic forecasting tool. That is correct, and lack the real-time context of team capacity, holidays, technical depth. Right. So LLM may not be aware of all these. So this seems okay. LLMs require a dedicated server for forecasting. No, traditional forecasting is required by the Scrum Guide. No. So let's check for B. Yeah, LLM predict the next word in a sequence based on the training data. They do not possess the specific real-time contextual data of your team's unique working environment to make accurate. Yeah, which is correct. I think this makes sense. So that's the reason we use our traditional forecasting using the historical team data rather than going with the LLM. So these are the 10 questions, but if you look at it, we still have 40 more questions. So if you want to give it a try, the questions are available on the website. So if you go to this website, productleadersdayindia.org, uh, free resources, free assessment, right? And you will find another assessment also. Go to the AI for product owner and you will find it here. And if you're interested in attending a training for the product owner or for the Scrum Master, then you should go to the training section, right? In the training section, you will find, give me a second, we have multiple trainings. So PSPO AI, PSBM, all those. So if you click on the PSPO AI training, here is it. AI for product owner 2026. And we have every alternate week, we have in a batch. So you can look at the, all the details are given on the page. So you look at the available dates and then you can enroll accordingly, right? This is our feedback. So far, so good, right? And we do it online using Zoom. And the class is very interactive. This is not a presentation based class. This is more of an activity based class, right? So with this, let me stop sharing my screen. So how was it? So I hope this was helpful to you, all of you. You may have learned something new about the AI for product owner part, right? And in case if you have found any value in it, just like the video and subscribe to our channel, right? And wait for our next video. The next video we are going to talk about AI for Scrum Master questions. Thanks for watching. Happy learning.